guys? This is Erica Weston with Fox Sports Midwest, and you're listening to my favorite St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio.
Welcome to Season 8, Episode 54 of Let's Go Blues Radio, the often imitated but never duplicated, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, February 26, 2020. This is franchise episode number 240 all-time. Your hosts tonight are yours truly, Kurt Price, Bill Day, and Jeff Ponder. And for your listening pleasure, for the next little while, we'll be talking Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues hockey. And if you're not careful, you just might learn something. To interact with the show on social media, follow the show on Twitter at LGB Radio. My handle is at Kurt Price, Bill's is at Billy Blue Note, and Jeff's is at JPonder94. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel where this show is broadcast live each and every week, year-round. Well, not on YouTube, but our show is broadcast year-round on the podcast circuit side of it. By subscribing, you are notified when new shows go live on YouTube. For those of you watching the live show on YouTube right now, feel free to comment in the live chat, and we'll address what we can as quickly as we can. The world-famous website is letsgoblues.com, where you can listen or watch past episodes of the show, browse the fan discussion forum, as well as get some cool St. Louis Blues-themed T-shirts and stickers that helps support the show. Happy Mardi Gras, guys, or post-Mardi Gras. You didn't go, did you, Bill? Did you go, Jeff?
No.
No?
I did not.
I did not.
I checked out the parade. I went to the parade, and I hung out down there for a while. It is crowded.
Yeah.
How many boobs did you see?
None. Not a single one.
Oh, not one? Like, not one set? Or did you actually see one but not the other one?
I didn't see any. I didn't see part of one. I saw part of a bunch of them, and I didn't see like the entire. I didn't see what qualifies as seeing a boob.
Right. I've noticed that they never publish the stats whenever they talk about the arrests, which is usually the first, or the second talking point when they talk about Mardi Gras in St. Louis is the number of arrests, and they never talk about public indecency. It's always drinking underage or fake ID.
Huh.
They never mention, either, pissing in an alley or
I'm sure there was plenty of that because
busting out the girls.
To be honest, the wait for the Johnnies was redonkulous. Half an hour. You're waiting in line to go to the bathroom. Well, one guy I guess he rented a Johnny on the spot, and he was charging $5 a pop for people to go to the bathroom, which at first when I heard that, I thought that was absurd. And then when I found out there was a half an hour wait to the bathroom,
genius.
I was like, I might just pay $5 to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
it's genius.
Kurt may be soliciting investments for a Johnny on the spot next year.
But you got to get it down there. And what do those things cost to rent? I have not a clue. It could be $200. It could be $20. I have no idea.
Yeah, you'd make
I
it
bet
up.
you make your money back at Mardi Gras, though.
I bet you would. And especially later when people are drunk and they don't care as much.
Yeah.
$5? Ugh, that's fine. Can I just give you 15 and go here 3 times?
Can I just keep my card open? I'll be back.
Yeah, keep my tab open. Yeah, there you go.
Start a tab with a Johnny. If you actually live down there, you could just create some permanent outdoor potty and then just get a card swipe on the outside. That'd be kind of cool.
Who wants to pee in my pool? Just stand on the deck and pee in my pool for $5.
This time of year, it's half empty anyway. Just fill it back up.
Yeah, right. Your neighbors would like that, but it's a good idea.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. It's. I wouldn't call it a good idea, but it's an idea.
It's an idea.
It's an idea.
We'll give it that.
We have we're announcing our contest winner for the All-Star Game rally towel. And
Is it me?
It is not you, even though you did.
I commented.
You did comment. Here's the Stag Beer Blues Hockey mashup stickers we're giving away with 4 of these. On YouTube, you can see that. The podcasters maybe watch the show on YouTube once in a while. You can see what we're talking about visually. And then there's the All-Star Game rally towel. I can't. There it is. There it is. So we're giving those away to user Lambini.
Lambini.
User Lambini from the in the letsgoblues.com forums posted a nice story about moving to New Jersey and being a fan and coming back and watching some games. So congratulations, Lambini. We will contact you in the forum and get your contact info and send the stuff out to you. And thanks to everyone else who participated as well. There's some good stories in there.
No, it was. That was cool, and it was fun to see the forum in good use. I haven't been there in a while, and Kurt, you've been plugging it a little bit here at the top of each show, and I gotta say, sir, it looks pretty state of the art. I think it looks pretty good. So if you haven't checked out the letsgoblues.com forum in a while, you might want to do that.
Yeah, thanks. It's modern now, and it's just much improved. So anybody who's listening, if you want to interact with people, there's so much interaction on Twitter and Facebook with and Blues groups and Blues fans on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. But man, I gotta tell you that there's something about discussion forums that I have a soft side for discussion forums, just because that's stuff
where
is
it all started.
It is, and you can reference that stuff. You can reference those conversations. You can go back and pull stuff up a lot easier than you can on Facebook or Twitter. And it's a better platform for discussing sports in an ongoing conversation. I think Twitter, you kind of get all mixed up in threads and things, and Facebook's kind of awful for that kind of thing. So discussion forums are still the best bet, but I know people are doing, and it's mobile friendly. Our discussion forums, so you can pull it up on your phone. It looks nice.
The other thing that's great about forums still to this day, I know we give the Asylum some trouble, but at the same time, those are your people who are really seeking out having long discussions about the St. Louis Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Facebook. I'll admit I'm guilty of it. There's some times where I'll send a tweet out during a game and I say, you know what, I'd rather just sit and watch the game, not really talk to anyone tonight. I'm just going to put my phone down and just watch the game and enjoy it. But there's some nights where I say, man, it'd be good to have some good discussion with Blues fans. And, it's the forums that's going to bring out at least the crazy fans, the ones who are watching every game, the ones who just, whether you agree with some of the things they say or not, they're there for the long haul with the team. That's the kind of people that go to message boards. So that always makes it a little more fun, too.
An active discussion forum is much better to go to after the game. I always enjoyed, back in the day before Twitter, going on a discussion forum, like a rival team's discussion forum, and the morning after a game, and I'd go back and say they're playing the Blues. I'd go back and I would just kind of read the conversation, and it's basically a play-by-play of sorts for big plays during the game, and to get their reaction for different plays during the game. It was just kind of a cool thing.
Timestamp too.
Yeah,
they're
really
cool.
Exactly. So you can kind of. I still do that once in a while with cards forums and Blues opponents and stuff. It's neat to do. You can't do that kind of thing on Twitter, really.
Yeah, one of my favorite
Austin
things
Lynch
back
asks.
in the day.
Go ahead, Bill.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm too young. What the fuck is a forum from Austin Lynch?
Yeah, so don't even try to go like alt-hockey.
God,
that's like ancient, right? But I was going to say one of my favorite things back in the day when just as a longtime stalker of letsgoblues.com. Not really ever a poster on that, but it was daily reading for me to go back and see like the highlights of the opponent's threads that got brought over.
I used to love doing that.
Yeah.
I'd pull over content from other teams' forums and post comments, like a 15, 20 comments about different things during the game and see what the opposing fans were saying about different plays. It was I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Austin Lynch is it's an old Reddit, isn't it? It's actually a better form. I mean, I love Reddit, but Reddit is not, it's not in order. You know what I mean? There's the popular stuff gets pushed to the top, and it can be out of order and at times.
That's called upvoting.
Upvoting, yeah. So, but the forum, no, letsgoblues.com. Go there, and there's a forum link. Go and check it out. It's when it's active, it's pretty fantastic. And there's a handful of guys in there that are religious users, and they go in there and comment and stuff. And it's but the more the merrier. So just take part in that, and just check it out anyway. It's pretty cool. I like it. But
I should know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask this right now. Letsgoblues.com. Is there still a Hall of Fame forum when you go there?
There is, and it has not been added to in a while.
Does it still have some of the greats?
Oh yeah.
So it's still got things more intimidating than Eric Brewer?
I can pull it up. Yeah, I think
that
so.
is honestly one of the greatest threads of anything ever. I mean, that went on for years.
Hall of Fame. Okay, here's some threads in the Hall of Fame forum. Our interview with Tom Calhoun, that was from 2007. That was an email interview.
I remember that.
Yeah. Brad Boyes is awesome. Thread.
Nice.
Hockey songs. Anna Eye Candy. Oh man, Anna Kournikova. There was a. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was big in the forum world.
That's 55 pages long. Let's see.
So if you want pictures of Anna Kournikova, just head over to that thread.
I think pretty much anybody is in there.
Yeah.
Pronger traded. That's one of them. Waite Bernier 8th for Andy McDonald.
Oh wow.
Some big trades are in there. eBay weirdness. Why didn't JD trade Doug Waite? Blues ticket giveaway contest. We had tickets to give away. That was in 2008.
I remember that.
McKinnis Hall of Fame night. Greatest moment in Blues history. Tracking the improbable. What else? World Series, Cardinals and Dodgers. Any NHLPA deal done. So I don't think the. What was the one you said, Jeff? About it being here.
Hall of Fame.
Things more intimidating than Eric Brewer.
I don't see it.
That one was one of the best.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, so for those that are like completely in the dark on what we're talking about, it was a thread that somebody opened while he was captain here. So it was like 06, 07, 08, somewhere in there. And the title of it was Things That Are More Intimidating Than Eric Brewer. And I wish I remembered who the original poster was to give him credit. But I remember the first thing he posted, it was like a little plush pillow. And like there was like a unicorn doll. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it is just so funny. And then everyone just started responding with random pictures of just random things, and it just turned out to be one of the best.
I just posted the link in the chat. It's not in the Hall of Fame. But I did a search for it and I found it. So
you do need to put that in the Hall of Fame.
There's
one of the first images is a butterfly. Little Romeo. Tyra Banks is in there.
Yeah, it's
Chunk.
And a bunch of images are kind of dead links, but yeah, it's
there's still some good stuff in there.
Bernie Meklas is in there. Anyway,
Fried and Roy.
That is the Ted Simmons of Hall of Fame posts.
Somebody posted a Chicago Cubs logo.
It'll get in eventually. Okay, good call.
That was
call,
fantastic. Jeff. There's a picture of Bob Saget.
Yes, so that's an old thread too. So some of those images are no longer linked, but a number of them are.
Yep.
Okay.
It's 65 pages long.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. The official beers of episode number 240.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I actually added 2 announcements there. I was hoping you
Since
could.
when?
We could do that real quick.
Where? What? Well, let me see this. Hold on.
Do you not see it, Bill?
I do now. I do now.
Okay.
You
could
added
see it
this
on
after
Kurt's
I
computer screen, so he's lying.
you added
I
this
did.
after I copied it over, so that's why I didn't see it.
Oh, why do you copy it over? Why don't you just leave
Because
the
I
live
have
thing
all
open?
kinds of stupid notes on my copy that is not you guys that would just clutter things up for you guys. So
I did. How have we
I've
been
seen
doing
it
this show
before.
for 9 years and I
He
didn't know
has-
that?
He has strategically placed insult ponder here. Like,
Oh yeah,
right.
yeah.
Genius. No, that's what a good host does.
Go ahead.
Real quick, sorry, I got 2 quick announcements I'm going to make. First, let me grab this over here.
Wait, what?
This should have been ready to
Gauge
go.
on this. I'm sorry. You're right. Totally unprepared here. So we are going to have a giveaway. Probably be next week. I got one of our great shirts from Let'sGoBlues.com
Nice.
shop. The Biddington Not Nervous beer looking logo one. It's kind of a baby blue color. Very pretty shirt. For those of you watching on YouTube, you can see it.
I wore that one last week for those that watched the show
Yeah,
last week.
if you watched
Right,
the show last week, that's the one Kurt wore.
Right. It's
Um,
Kurt's basement blue.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
that's the official color.
So I
of the
got
shirt.
this one. It is a large, and I will be announcing what the giveaway or how the giveaway parameters will be probably during next week's show. So make sure you stay tuned for that if you want to get that shirt. Also, I just wanted to announce real quick that I have picked a theme for the summer series. And something I know Kurt is working with me on for a logo because he is a design expert and working with a local band on some things as well. But it's a pretty cool theme. It's going to basically be called Let's Go Blues Radio Past and Future. And I mentioned this, I think, on an earlier show that I was thinking about it. It's official now. I will be interviewing former players for the first half of the show. Second half, we'll be discussing prospects, people in the pipeline for the Blues, that kind of thing. So I'll be bringing on people who cover the WHL, the QJ, MHL, things like that. So, make sure you stay tuned because we are around, as Kurt said at the start of the year, or at the start of the episode, all summer long. We're here all year. So, I'm pretty excited to do that one. That will be a lot of fun. Shouldn't be as much work as last summer. Last summer was nuts.
No, when a podcast becomes work, then it's no fun.
It was work, but I was about 18 episodes in, and I'm like, just power through it, just get through it. It's work now, but that's fine. We've only got 12 left.
A wise man once said, "Love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life."
True,
Whole episode of Letterkenny right there.
it is.
Okay, so back on track. The official beers of episode number 240. Bill? Your go-to.
Going back to the old reliable, as I said in my Twitter comment, the kid on the label of this Founder's Breakfast Stout makes me want to eat a bowl of cereal right now.
So
I would do that, except we get a bad rating for eating on the show again.
They really should pair that beer with a cereal of some kind.
I'm gonna
Like
have to go with
Saran wrap the bottle to a box of cereal and package it in the store.
yeah. I'd go with Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
If I'm if I'm drinking beer
Cocoa
and eating
Chex,
cereal, no, it's got to be a full-on kids sugar cereal.
Bill just totally just shut you down.
No.
No.
I don't know.
If there are two things I know, it's coffee stouts
Okay.
and cereal.
All right. Okay.
How dare you even
What about
suggest Cocoa
what about like a
Chex?
chocolate granola?
What? Get out of here with this semi-healthy stuff.
Granola is not healthy at all. What are you talking about? Granola is very calorie dense.
But it's not pure sugar, and that's what I'm.
There's a
going
lot of
for.
sugar in granola too. But okay. Very nice. Jeff, what's yours?
Well, I don't. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Cocoa Puffs because I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I have Cocoa Puffs upstairs.
That's great stuff. Why don't you bring some on over there, big boy? All right. We've got, for me, I'm going with an old favorite. And this is going to sound weird. My favorite smelling beer. I love the smell of Urban Chestnut Schnickelfritz. Great stuff. Bavarian style Weiss beer ale. trying to hold it up to the camera here if I can do this correctly. Nope, right there. There we go. Yeah, it's a very sweet beer. Let's see what it says here. The unmistakable characteristics of this Bavarian-style Weiss beer are achieved with a yeast that creates a decidedly fruity and phenolic beer.
Phallic.
You may also
phallic is the word you're looking for.
yeah, phallic. Yeah, phallic beer. That's what it meant. Yep.
If it's
You may
ponder,
also
it's
note
phallic.
you may also note clove and banana-like aromas and flavors as you pour and enjoy this beer in a traditional tall wheat beer glass. Prost.
Prost. You're an urban chestnut guy. You feature
I
a lot
do
of
like
beers.
urban chestnut. Yeah, they're good stuff.
They have a good they have
urban chestnut, four hands, left hands. That's all some of my favorite beers.
all the hands and nuts. You got covered. Mine is a local beer from the O'Fallon Brewery. O'Fallon Dad's Original Oatmeal Stout, made with I guess, or seasoned or flavored with Dad's oatmeal cookies. So it's pretty good. And I was going to read a description, but there ain't one to be found on this bottle. So it's picture an iced oatmeal cookie, and it kind of has a hint of that flavor. I had a really good iced oatmeal cookie beer at Wolpertinger from Exit 6 Brewery. Exit 6 Brewery is owned by a former forum goer at letsgoblues.com. Hollywood was his name. So,
Oh,
yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Jeff something. Jeff Burton? Jeff Burt something like that.
Jeff Barton,
Maybe.
NASCAR driver?
1057 guy.
No.
Okay.
No. Tall,
both wrong.
Tall, bald, scary guy. But no, it was excellent. It was very good. I got a little half pour of the thing for the Wolpertinger, and I took a sip. I'm like, I'll be damned. That's an iced oatmeal cookie. It was pretty good.
I'll have to go to that next year.
Yeah, it's kind of out of the way from here. Like
Not X6, Wolpertinger.
Oh yeah, Wolpertinger's fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I remember when X6 opened, we got invited out, and it was decided to be too far.
It was
for
pretty
us.
far. It's I forgot the name of the town, but it's up there. It's like a 45-minute drive or something
Yeah.
like that. It's
Have to cross 2 rivers and stuff. Can't do it.
it's farther than the Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill.
It's still around, isn't it?
So I hear. I hear bad things about the future of that place. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
So
So
former
we've
employees.
we got a couple comments here. Jeff, you're delayed. You got that AT&T internet. Jeff, you're running internet off your hotspot on your Cricket wireless phone. Very funny, fellas. Yes, there's a delay, and we try to fix it before every show, but we never seem to be able to. We're working on some things to correct those types of issues, so just hang in with us.
That's something we
Good
say
Lord.
when we're working on nothing. It's just we don't know what to do.
Exactly. No, we don't know what to do.
Tonight was
Just
the
fucking deal with it.
right. Tonight was the funniest test that I've seen so far. Just trying to do that countdown, and you think you guys are in sync, and
Yeah.
you're, you know,
No, it
Yeah, we did
didn't
an
work.
in-sync countdown,
Didn't
but
work.
it turns out that there's no matter what, there will be like a split-second delay between Kurt and I, and we didn't learn that until after we tried to sync. So,
Yeah, trying
That
to
was
sync up
pretty
the
silly.
voices was pretty comical.
yep.
Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, February 26th, 1994. Brendan Shanahan recorded a hat trick, had 5 points in the game as the St. Louis Blues set their single-game franchise record for goals with 11 versus the Ottawa Senators. They were so bad for so long.
I remember this game vividly.
so do I.
I remember just seeing them put up an 11 spot and just being, holy cow, the Senators are this bad, huh?
Prokhorov
It makes
scored
you
twice
think,
in this game. They were
how
bad.
did they get that one goal?
That's bad.
When Prokhorov scores twice on you, they're bad. So he
Their goal was from Davidov. I never even heard of that guy. Well, Yashin and Sylvain Turgeon with the assists. That was the one goal from Ottawa.
Prokhorov from Duchesne and Shanahan was another one. Prokhorov from Karamnov. Karamnov from Korolev and Prokhorov. In the third period. There you go. The Russian
that line
the
did
Russian connection.
work once at least.
That was such a disappointment, those 3 Russians. I mean, well, Korolev had a nice career, but the other 2 were worthless. And the hype behind those guys was stupid, ridiculous.
Well, it was,
Yeah.
the Blues behind the curve and bringing in Russian players. And
Detroit
they're like,
did
we
their
got these 3 guys. They were great for the non-Soviet team in the '92 Olympics.
The unified?
The unified
team, yeah.
Yeah, and what a bill of goods that turned out to be.
I just want to respond to a YouTube comment here from Austin Lynch. Caw!
No.
All right, I'm done with that.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, that was an entertaining game last week.
It's
the
fun,
Battle
man.
Hawks.
I'm liking the XFL.
I had it on, and it was entertaining. It was a lot of stuff going on. It was pretty fun. Winning is fun. December 26, 2008, Cam Jansen was traded to the St. Louis Blues by the New Jersey Devils for Bryce Salvador. I was pissed off at the time of this trade, and I'm still pissed off.
We all were.
I mean, Cam Jansen's been a great guy to have around for promoting the team and a rah-rah guy. He's a good St. Louisan. I get it. It's fun to listen to now, but as far as the hockey part of it goes, man, this was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible trade.
This was back during the day where the Blues were just having to make trades to bring in, to keep the fans interested.
Right? And they weren't going to. The Salvador's, he was asking for more than they wanted to give him. His contract was up, and they mentioned in the article that this is a definite rental. He re-signed in New Jersey. He played there for how many years? He played there for
finished his career there.
Yeah, a long time.
He's still there. He's part of their TV team now.
So that's couldn't have been more wrong with the rental comment.
Cam's great, and I think he would have come back here no matter what. I think if he doesn't sign here, I think he ends his career here somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I remember because it was they're either going to sign Jackman or Salvador. And the rumor was, well, they're going to trade Salvador because they could probably actually get more for him because he's got a little bit more of an offensive upside. And so I was like, okay, well, let's see what we can get. Fourth line guy who's really not even a fourth liner at that point, really a 13th forward. Terrible trade.
He was
awful.
He was a Tony Twist that was not as good a fighter, but he was a little faster of a skater.
Do you remember the Cam?
Yeah. Yeah,
the Cam. There was a camera always on Cam Jansen for his whole 4-minute shifts, or 4-minute games. That we had the Cam for a while. Oh, terrible.
What
Terrible
were his point totals of his career with the Blues?
Jansen? He had like 2
He had a
goals.
goal once.
He had a few goals, I thought. And he had I don't know. I could look it up, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Keep going.
All right.
I'd be surprised if he had a 2-goal game.
Twisted.
Yeah.
I don't think
BJ
Jansen-
Crombie had a hat trick.
Yep.
I killed the guy with the trident.
All right, so Cam, he had 2 goals with the Blues, 7 points. 7 assists, 9 points, minus 15, 470 penalty minutes with the Blues in 165 games.
February 26, 2012, Ben Bishop was traded by the St. Louis Blues to the Ottawa Senators for a second-round pick in the 2013 draft, which ended up being Tommy Vannelli.
Right, who they just gave up on him last year, right?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess back-to-back poor trades. Granted, this one didn't quite know what we had, I guess, but yeah. December 20th. God, December. What the fuck, December?
Right.
February 26, 1999. Craig Conroy recorded his first career hat trick. Brent Johnson made his first NHL start and recorded his first win in the St. Louis Blues 4-2 win versus the Calgary Flames.
Not surprising. He goes first career hat trick, and what team does he go to after he leaves here?
Calgary. Yeah.
Seems to happen a lot.
That will conclude today in Blues history. Courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account. If you don't follow him, please do. It's a good follow on Twitter. Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. We can go through these pretty quick. Notice the flame in the notes, meaning
If only our listeners could see what you put.
meaning rapid fire. So we'll zip through these. The E-Bug, David Ayers wins versus Toronto. Came in after both their goalies got injured. Steve Dangle loses it. Did you guys watch the Steve Dangle?
I haven't seen the video.
Stuff.
That was
Good stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him, but that was funny, and he makes excellent points about it.
Well, and I told you guys that I was listening purposely, and I'm glad I thought about it. Monday morning, I step into the office, and I say, you know what, I'm going to listen to some Toronto sports radio today.
That's a good idea.
My God. They were ripping the Maple Leafs. I mean, it was
Rightfully so.
so much fun to listen to.
Rightfully so. I mean, a lot of times, Toronto fans and media, they're ridiculous as far as their expectations and what they expect of the Maple Leafs. But I didn't hear what they said. But them being like ridiculously upset about the Leafs, I'm sure it was justified.
One of my favorite comments was, I don't remember who it was, but one of the guys said, yeah, after the game, John Tavares talked about, I think actually maybe it was the next day, they were talking to Tavares at practice, and he was like, yeah, we're in playoff mode, we're looking down the stretch and blah, 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 blah. And he just goes, yeah, playoff mode. You're going to lose to a 42-year-old nothing, and you're in playoff mode. What the hell? Take that C off his chest. I was like, whoa, man.
A 42-year-old Zamboni driver that works for the team.
And I caught it today because you retweeted it from our show account, but the Keith Olbermann thing, it's not the first time in franchise history that the Leafs have been beaten by their own fucking goalie.
I know, right? It happened against Montreal a long time ago. That was I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's good. Thank you, Olbermann.
Yeah, I think that is really the only thing that could have made this worse had it been Montreal.
Yeah, true.
God.
So as far as the NHL's reaction to this goes, and I had a couple things to say about it too, but go ahead, Joe.
Real quick, I just want to comment on David Ayers' performance a little bit.
Right.
I thought he was okay. He did what he needed to do. But the thing that shocked me, because you see this in men's league, and you guys will probably agree with this, whenever there's a bad goalie or maybe the other team doesn't have a goalie and, they're having to skate 6 players or whatever, sometimes that is some of the worst hockey the opposing team will play. And I thought just because you think, okay, this goalie's bad, just shoot the puck, we're going to score some goals. Well, because you're shooting from the red line and the neutral zone, you're not getting good chances. Any competent goalie is going to make saves. And same thing with having 6 players. Guys know how to block shots. So oftentimes I've seen teams not have a goalie but win the game, or have a really, really bad goalie and win the game. Because that's all players do, is they try to just shovel it to the net. And that's not going to work most of the time. And so it was interesting to see that at the professional level, that it just seemed like the Maple Leafs were just like, put the puck on the net, we're going to score.
Well,
not really. I mean, the guy knows how to play goalie. He's just not an NHL goalie.
We back in a long time ago, we changed goalies on the fly. And they shared equipment.
Bill, was that bad, huh?
Was it you and Jeff, or Jeff and my brother?
It was Jeff and your brother.
Okay. Because it wasn't ice or roller or anything. It was a long time ago where kids were playing on foot in an indoor soccer field in the league, and I mean, this is not even close to. But we're just, I mean, the scenario was, that was big leagues for street hockey basically.
Right.
We decided to change goalies during play, and our 2 goalies shared a number of their equipment with each other. So one goalie took off the equipment, the one that was in the game, took it off, laid it in the crease, ran to the bench, the other guy ran on, got dressed in the crease, didn't allow a goal.
Right. No,
That's impressive.
We were a possession kind of team.
Right. They came down a couple times and took a shot one time, and it hit a piece of equipment in front of the goal and went wide, which can't be legal. Can't be legal at all. But
Probably not.
Yeah.
No. But I thought he played terrible. I thought he was terrible. I think the saves he made, the first two goals, the first goal he allowed was awful. Second one, okay, couldn't do much on. Third, and the third or fourth shot, he almost kicked in because he couldn't find it. And he only had like 5 or 6 shots after that play, or whatever, and they weren't anything difficult. He had the one flare out blocker save. That was it. That was it.
You're being a
I'm fine
dick.
with it.
I'm not being a
Yeah,
dick. I'm just being honest. I'm
fine with it.
I'm just saying.
The man was nervous.
Put it in context. The man was nervous in front of the most
I get it. I'm not saying
ravenous.
He probably thought he was
going
gonna
to
get lynched if he won the game.
in the world.
I'm not saying he should have been good. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been nervous. I'm just saying he wasn't very good in the game.
He's not going to get a professional contract with the performance.
And which is why I understand why Maple Leafs fans were so upset about losing to this goalie and only scoring 2 goals on the first 2 shots and couldn't score any in the third period, because he was awful. I mean, I get it. Carolina's dropping 5 guys back and blocking everything in sight and trying to play solid D, but they still scored a couple goals on Toronto too in the process. So it's like,
they scored early there in the third, and I thought,
Yeah.
boy,
yeah.
this is gonna be crazy.
That was
bad.
That was the dagger, that early goal in the third, and that just enabled Carolina to focus
Toronto's
on defense.
That shows Toronto's terrible defense on that goal too. I mean, my God, they just walked right in.
I posted the link to the Steve Dangle's rant about the game in the YouTube chat. For those
Let's Go Blues Twitter.
No, on the YouTube chat. So
on the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for those who haven't seen it, the rant, it's funny, and he's a huge Maple Leafs fan. And
all right, it's like a 10-minute show or 10-minute little thing, right?
It's
so
long. It's funny.
We'll pause for 10 minutes. Go ahead and go watch it. We'll wait
I'm
here.
just saying, reference it later. It's in there for later. You can scroll back through the comments later and watch it.
Right. Or, by the time we wrap up this part of the rapid fire segment, you can rejoin us.
Right.
All that I want to add, because I did tell Kurt that I wanted to bitch about the NHL a little bit. The fact that the NHL is now saying that their next GM meetings, they're going to have a talk about this and we gotta fix this. And my first thought is, okay,
why?
If the Carolina Hurricanes got their asses kicked, if the game was 3-3 and the game ends 10-3 Toronto, okay, I agree with you. This is a big deal. Let's get this fixed. That's a playoff battle. Ray Ferraro made the comment, well, because he's on the side of, yes, let's fix it. He made the comment about, well, which I love Ray Ferraro, but I was not agreeing with him on this. Oh, well, do you really want a playoff matchup to come down to a emergency backup? But the thing is, it didn't. It came to Toronto not playing good hockey.
He said a playoff matchup? In the playoffs?
No. He was basically saying that, what he was saying was a battle for playoff positioning.
Okay.
It can be decided by an emergency backup goalie, which, again, if Carolina loses this game 10-3, I agree with you, Ray. But guess what? It went the other way. There's no problem. This has been nothing but a great story outside of Toronto. And for Toronto, just to, that was ridiculous. We look stupid because we lost to an emergency backup. Yeah, you look stupid because you played bad hockey against an emergency backup. So for the NHL to say that they're going to revisit this and talk about it, it's fine. I mean, the 2 stories that come out of this, Scott Foster and now David Ayers, have been 2 of the best stories to come out of the NHL in the last couple of years. So,
right, all the good.
What are you trying to fix?
And the positive light that the game gets shown. Hockey fans are often cast as the hey, like my sport. Well, this is the opportunity for a lot of people to like our sport, right? So, why? And let me tell you, from my perspective, as a kid, going to games, that was always the back of my mind. What happened? What happens? And then I learned that Lindsay Middlebrook was the Blues e-bug. Lindsay played for the Blues and the Rangers back in the 70s. and we're talking games in the late '80s, early '90s, and he would be the e-bug. I'm like, I know I could do better than him. I know. I mean, just as a goalie, just the idea that you could potentially just get into a game at that level is like just the stuff dreams are made of. I'll just say I'm super happy for Dave Ayers and Scott Foster. They have gotten to live the dream that all of us have.
I'm totally with you. I think it's a really cool story, and I was totally happy for him. What I didn't like about what people were saying about it after the fact was they couldn't get off the fact. It seemed like they were just harping on the fact that he's a minor league Zamboni driver, but they never talked about the fact that he actually plays goal.
Right.
It was like, they just pulled the Zamboni driver and he played, and he stuck him in net. And I'm like, no, he can play.
Right.
He can play goal. He plays against NHL players with the the Marlies sometimes.
Right. And they were talking about like one of the things, the worst pieces of press coming out of the Toronto media was they're ripping apart Willie Nylander, who's come. I think it was Willie Nylander, or else the captain had coming back from an injury, and they were ripping him for being chummy with him the morning after because Ayers dressed out and skated. It's like, what the fuck? Come on.
They were pissed that night to lose. They were pissed that night to lose, but those guys know him. A lot of them know him. They see him at the rink. They say hi to him every day. Like, they were happy for him the next day. Yeah, it sucks you beat us, but man, that is so cool for you. It's ridiculous.
The trade deadline, there were 32 trades.
Jesus.
55 players.
Doesn't feel that way.
No, it doesn't. And I'm not sure if they were counting just trade deadline day. It may have been the days leading up to, but
right.
I'm sure it was.
It had to be.
It was the trade window.
Yeah. But the people. I was talking about the winners and losers, and a lot of talk about the Panthers, about what they were doing as far as dedicating $70 million to goaltending before the season started, then bringing in one of the greatest coaches of all time in the offseason to coach your team, and they're 2 points out of third spot in the Atlantic behind Toronto. Toronto of all teams, okay? A team that is catchable, right? And they had a game in hand. So they're essentially tied for the last. It was the wild card, the third in the division, which would have been the wild card was a bit farther up, but still. And they trade away their second line center in his prime, who had 2 years left on his contract for rental. So
yeah, I didn't understand that.
That was weird.
Weird trade.
And they
Eric Hall is a good player, but man, Trocheck does everything right. I love the way he plays the game.
So it's almost like they're like, which I guess is not that unlike what the Blues did with Stasny, but they were a little farther out. But I think you think making the playoffs would mean a lot more to Florida than it would have the Blues a couple years ago.
Yeah,
because Florida,
all the money they spent this summer,
all the money they spent, and they're never in it. They're never in it. To get in, like Columbus, they were never in it. They never won a series. They wanted to win a series. And Florida, when's the last time that Florida has done anything? And now they're right on the
96.
verge, the cusp, and they sell off. That's got to be a hard thing for fans to, the fans are like, okay, following the standings, following the scores, trying to get in the playoffs, and all of a sudden the team gives up.
The only thing I can think is that they thought they had there were two pieces to this.
Yeah,
and
but
the other piece fell through.
That's embarrassing though. If that's bad.
I mean Dale,
I guess
Dale Talon is not renowned for being a modern hockey GM. He's an old school guy, and he may have thought he had somebody's word, but I don't know. Panthers are one of those teams that sometimes I have to be reminded they exist.
I know. Yeah.
Our friend Puck Guy 14 from the Teal Town USA podcast, Sharks podcast. If you want to hear what they're talking about over there, it's a great podcast. He says what I basically just said when they won the East in 1996, the last time they were relevant. So yeah, that's pretty much the last time the Panthers were relevant.
Yeah. Speaking of Puck Guy 14, Joe Thornton was not traded at the deadline. despite his desire to be traded to a top team. He was quoted as saying after the deadline was over, "As you get older, you realize you only have so many shots at this thing, and it would have been nice to have a chance. I wanted a shot. I've been hunting this thing down for 22 years." And a lot of people have said this about that. They're kind of critical of his comments. And I'm kind of on board with this. I think there were 3 to 4 teams that showed interest in Thornton, they said. But he didn't want to waive his no trade for them, apparently. Maybe Puck Guy can shed some more light on that because he might know a little more than we do about it. But 22 seasons, he played 179 playoff games, a trip to the NHL final. Honestly, I mean, I think he said this before about getting his shot. He wanted his shot. I mean, honestly, he's had plenty of shots.
Right, 2016 was his shot.
He was just in the final, and he's had a long career on some good teams that just couldn't get it done. He's had his. The narrative is just wants a shot. I'm like, he had his shot. He's had a lot of shots. I mean, there's a lot of people that won shots, and he's a lot of them.
That's why, the Ray Bourque thing comes to mind, because it was Ray Bourque's not been in a final. He's never been on a good Bruins team that's been good enough to get him there. He never actually had his shot till he joined the Avalanche, and that's why that was such a great story. And this feels force-fed with Joe. I'm one of the few people in St. Louis that likes Joe Thornton. I like him as a player. I love what he's done. I think he's just a dynamic guy. But my God, having your shot? Come on, man. You've had your shot. You've been on some excellent teams that didn't go past the second round. You went to the final in 2016. You had your shot, man. You didn't get it.
I think the
bitch about this, what you expected the Blues or the Bruins or the Lightning to just be like, yeah, let's take him.
The Bruins, that would have been interesting going back to Boston.
Right, the team that drafted him, where he never got over the hump to become a star there. Yeah. I don't know. To me, the whole thing is that it's the good Canadian boy narrative gone off the fucking rails, right? He's the quintessential. Oh, he's the old school. Not the fastest guy, but great hands and tough as nails. But never got his cup. So now is he a Hall of Famer? No. Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe
1,500 points. Is that what he's got?
But I think a lot of it is that a Stanley Cup would have solidified that. Yeah,
I mean, I think he's a Hall of Famer. But yeah,
right. It is a great easy storyline if he winds up on a contender, especially the Bruins. But the Bruins don't need him. The Bruins,
no.
What are the Bruins going to do with another center? I mean, they got rid of their problem slow old center, moved him to Anaheim.
Yeah, right. No kidding. Yeah, don't want to. Although if he did sign there, he wouldn't be. If he did go there, I'm sure San Jose beating all kinds of salary. Oh, he doesn't make that much this year.
No, it's a 1 year deal, right?
He's. I kind of. I don't know. I mean, the whole, that just bugged me. I was like, you've had a lot of shots, and there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people on that team. I'm sure that will like to be moved to a contender, that could contribute.
Marlowe did.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Seeing Marlowe in a Penguins jersey tonight just doesn't look right. I don't know. There's something about it. Like maybe he just looks too old now. But I don't know. It's just doesn't look great.
Puckeye 14. Jumbo is hoping for an elite contender and getting Sharks a sweet return, i.e. Boston, St. Louis, Colorado, Tampa Bay. Then he says a cup would solidify. I think he's talking about Hall of Fame. A cup would solidify it, he says. I think that means Hall of Fame.
I think
likely
he's in.
Is why Marlowe went for it in Pittsburgh. Oh, he's in.
Yeah.
I don't know why he was not one of the NHL 100. He was fantastic. He deserves to be there over Jonathan Taves or Duncan Keith.
It's got to be the fact that he's. I mean, like Bill was saying, it's got to be the fact that he just hasn't won a cup to get that recognition as far as that's concerned. He hasn't put the team on his back and carried them through a series that they shouldn't have won, or whatever. But Maybe that's it. But so anyway, Jay Bouwmeester and Doug Armstrong at a press conference today. It was speculated he'd announced his retirement today by a lot of people, but that didn't happen. They just announced that Bouwmeester will not return to play during the regular season or the playoffs this postseason. He'll make a decision on his future in this offseason. So the rescheduled game that was postponed when he had his incident will be on March 11th, 9 p.m. in Anaheim. So there's still some people that think he's going to try and play again, and I don't see that at all. I think it's just, to me, I took this, and you guys, if you disagree, let me know. I just took this as I'll make my decision in the offseason if I'm going to retire. I'd rather not have a big to-do now. We're in the stretch of the season, focus on the team. I don't want to take a spotlight away from anything that has to do with the team. I'll make the decision off season. And he's never been a spotlight guy anyway.
Well, and
right. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, but if he were to announce retirement right now, he doesn't get paid the rest of the year, right?
I don't know. Somebody asked that question. I don't think it was
I'm fairly certain that's the case, that if he announces retirement, he still sits on the Blues' cap. And he doesn't actually earn his. I mean,
that might be right because
opt to pay him, but it's just logistically, it makes sense for him to just say, "Yeah, I'll decide something over the summer." Blah blah blah. I think he knows he's retiring. It's just not the pertinent time for him to say that right now.
That makes sense because I guess that's why Pronger didn't retire.
Yeah,
when he was on LTIR. Actually, do you know there is no LTIR officially in the CBA? It's all IR. LTIR is just you're on IR longer. It's not. There's no official LTIR status. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
According to something I was reading the other day when I was looking up IR stuff. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I think he's knows his career is over, as much as I hate to admit that, and I'm sure he does too, and his family does. But I mean, I think it's just a matter of like you just said, Kurt. Part of it is we're in this stretch run. Let's not make this about me. He's not a spotlight guy anyway. On top of that, but let's just make sure he gets his paychecks for the next couple weeks before the season ends.
The Winter Classic announcement was made the other night during the Blues and Wild game, and the Blues are in the Winter Classic next year, 2021. So that's I was watching this with my daughter, and there was speculation that the Blues were going to be in it. It was kind of wasn't a done deal, but it was.
We had heard that for a while, right?
For a month, over a month, we had heard that the Blues were seriously being considered as one of the teams to get it. So it wasn't a surprise that we got it, but it was like you didn't know for sure. So I was watching with my daughter, and I told her all about it, and I was like, okay, and they announced it, and she celebrated. It was kind of funny. So it was fun. But I'm excited. I love the and apparently Wild fans don't seem particularly happy that the Blues are the opponent in this. So according to some Wild fans on social media, the Blues are non-fascinating, which I think is hilarious coming from a Wild fan. That's a Wild fan saying that. I mean, they are one of the least fascinating teams. I mean, whatever fascinating, how you define that in NHL terms. The Wild are not. They have never blown my skirt up ever, ever, ever.
Yeah, the best thing about that the Wild have contributed to the NHL in their existence, in my opinion, were the All-Star jerseys.
Yeah, that was good.
Those were the best.
Yep.
You have one of the West ones, but even the ones that the East Don, the white and red ones. Oh, those were beauties.
Beautiful.
But apart from that, they really some good playoff matchups between the two teams.
Sure, a couple of them.
Yeah, but I guess they were the team that knocked off Colorado when Colorado was on the verge of being a dynasty, right?
First round, wasn't it?
Yeah,
first round. Yeah,
Andrew Brunette, double overtime winner.
Yeah,
but God, it's hard to believe they've been around 20 years already.
Yeah, I mean, a bad name too. I don't like. I mean, I've never cared for the Wild.
Bad
Right.
name, bad logo.
Bad
I
name.
don't like their logo
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, that's a hard logo to.
I knew a girl in high school who swore up and down that her homosexual father was the one that designed that logo. So I don't know if that was true or not, but I remember she used to
Question.
always brag about it, and I was always like, I wouldn't brag about that.
question. I have a question.
What is it?
What does the fact that her father being homosexual have to do with the story?
Just look at the store. Look at the logo, man.
What?
Come on.
What?
Look at the logo.
You know what? It reminds me of a story
It
my
belongs on
grandma.
an H&M shirt.
It reminds me of something my grandma would say. About I was at a restaurant the other day and the waitress came over to our table. She was black, by the way, and and she took our order. Stuff like that. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Why?
No, because
what is that for?
she told the real reason that I mentioned that is because she used to say all the time, yeah, my dad and a bunch of his gay buddies were all sitting around and drew that up on a napkin, and then they decided to pitch it, and it worked. So that was what she said. Basically, a bunch of gay guys came up with it.
Okay.
So
Which means
I
what?
don't know what. Are you saying the
I don't
logo
know. I
looks
just
like it
found
was
it
designed
interesting.
by a homosexual, or do they have a
mean-
certain
I
style
mean-
that they tend to? This is getting
Well,
in
they
a
have a better
weird gray
they have
area
a
of
better
the show.
style than I do.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So it's
He's
a compliment.
insinuating because you're a graphic designer.
Oh, and then I'm homosexual.
Yeah,
Oh, that's-
I see.
Well,
it's a
are
long way to go for an underhanded insult there, Potter.
Yeah, that was a really you went
Was it-
around
that's
the
not-
bend.
You're saying, wait a minute. You're saying that being gay is an insult?
No, I never said that. I didn't say that.
That's what Bill's saying.
Did you say that?
And that's how it
Oh,
seemed
he,
like it was
he
coming
interpreted
off.
that's
Right.
okay.
I interpreted.
But we
Jeff-
talked about
Jeff's
but what brought up the
commentary as-
conversation was the
right.
fact we said we disliked the logo.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
There must be some Russian interference on this podcast now.
Yeah, yep. All right, guys, I'm gonna head off for the night. I'll see you later.
That's it. I'm out of here. So yeah, no, I'm pumped about the Winter Classic. Love the last one. It's not going to have the same level of intensity because it's not. I mean, it's not the Hawks. It's not the an arch rival. The time it was a big deal because that was a transitionary state between the two franchises in a way.
Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah. Unless Minnesota somehow comes up with a huge star in the making kind of player for next season, it's gonna be rough. I mean, shit, they almost traded Zach Parise on deadline day.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Yeah.
they actually almost moved him. That somebody wanted him. But then again, it was going to be for Andrew Ladd, from what I heard, which
Right.
I didn't even know he was
So-
still in the NHL.
So do you think it did go through because the NHL said, "What the hell are you doing? We just gave you a Winter Classic, and you're not going to have anybody. What, we have to put Ryan Suter on all these promos?"
there's a lot of interesting talk going on in the YouTube chat, and I think that's where it's going to stay.
We haven't been able to bring a lot of it forward.
No, they're
Oh, my.
they're kind of
Oh, my. Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah, there's a lot in there that Bill and I have been monitoring that we're like, yeah, that probably shouldn't be.
Who
brought up.
started that? Who was it? Oh, Jeff. You brought this up. The whole.
Oh, it was. I'm saying stuff that was before this.
I don't. Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
But no, real quick. So I do want to talk about. We kind of mentioned, and by the way, I want to say that I'm very excited too. I'm a fan of the Winter Classic. The fact that the Blues are involved in yet another NHL event, I'm sure it's pissing other people off, but I love it because how long, even when the Blues were good in the early 2000s, how long have we been sitting back and watching Detroit and Colorado and all these other teams get the star status that they've gotten in the NHL?
We're kind of the league's darlings right now.
Now we
Oh.
are, and I love it. It's beautiful.
You know, it's funny because the Blues are. This is not just immediate recency as far as this team goes either. It's and the non-fascinating comments from Wild fans about the Blues just kind of like make me do a little Michael Myers head turn and go, The Blues are number one in wins in the Western Conference over the past 11 years. I don't know if people know that or not. Number one over the past 11 years, we have the most wins in the Western Conference. The Wild, they're 15th over that same span. If the Blues win their next game, we'll be 200 games over 500 since the 09-10 season. On top of that, they hosted and won the Winter Classic in 17. Last season, the amazing run they went on, the turnaround has never been done before in NHL history. With a goalie with a fantastic story, hometown boy netting the double overtime series clinching goal against the Stars, hat tricks in the playoffs, late game comebacks. And this season were first in the West. Non-fascinating my ass.
Right. All-Star game. Shit.
All-Star game.
Now
yeah.
you've got the Jay Bouwmeester saga.
There's all kinds of storylines with this team. It's ridiculous.
Right. The Blues are the most compelling storyline franchise in the NHL right now.
Tons of stories recently, and also
you think Mike Yeo will drop the puck?
Oh. And also going back, like I said, the last 11 years, the number one team in the West as far as wins go. So,
right.
It's not just I don't know.
Well, I know that, again, for some people, seeing the Blues, it's like, okay, Blues again, they're involved again with something else.
We're not the Blackhawks.
But I will say, I was going to say, at least it's not the damn Blackhawks. Like, the fact that I was more mad when the Blackhawks kept getting that kind of stuff after they kept missing the playoffs. I'm like, they're not even a good team anymore. Why are you still focusing on them?
If they were, it's hard to argue. Okay, Oh, the NBCSN is featuring the Hawks a lot. Oh, it's pissing me off. Oh, they're getting the outdoor games. It's pissing me off. Well, if they're one of the best teams in the league, it's kind of hard to argue on that front, right? But you still want to see other teams in there. It's not like the Blues are in this every year. What, 3 years ago we're in it, and we're in it again. So now if we get it again in 2 years, then people can start talking, hey, what's going on? But I think, a second time. This is the Wild's second outdoor game too, right? So, I mean.
Right, their stadium series game, right?
That's still. Yes, yeah, it's outdoor. Yeah.
Well, somebody earlier was giving a shit saying that we were bashing the outdoor games, and now we love them.
What?
No, we were no. A couple episodes we talked about the stadium series and how they don't. It just feels like an afterthought because there's too many damn outdoor games. We weren't bashing the idea of the outdoor games. We're just bashing the idea that there's going to be fucking 5 or 6 every year.
I have said on this show a number of times that I love the outdoor games. I've also said that I forget they're on because there's a number of them. I forget when they are.
And they don't market them.
No, not as much. Not as much as they should.
They don't market them well. They don't market them well at all.
But I put them on. If I remember they're on, I put them on.
Who gives a shit about Colorado versus LA on a Saturday night in the middle of February?
But I
didn't. Right.
If I remember,
it's the worst rated game in NHL history.
Yeah, it was. It was true.
It's just to
Austin
me,
Lynch. The Blackhawks also haven't won an outdoor game yet. Yes,
yeah, they have.
It's true, and I love that.
They have won an outdoor game.
Yeah,
not a Winter Classic. They won an outdoor game.
That's right. They did. They won a Stadium Series game.
Yeah. But just get rid of the Stadium Series. The whole thing is they're designed to be a revenue maker.
Or just one. Have a Winter Classic and then one Stadium Series, one other outdoor
Winter Classic, Heritage Classic. That's all.
That's
you need.
exactly
That's fine.
what I think.
That's fine.
Yep.
I agree with that.
I'm cool with that. And so I want to. We don't have to get in a very long discussion about the jerseys for the team yet. This is a full year, pretty much about 11 months till we get there. But I did put out on Twitter for the show tonight poll for tonight's show. If the Blues go with a retro jersey for the 2021 Winter Classic, which do you want? And then I also have a picture attached if you want to find me on Twitter at jponner94. So I did a poll on that, and we had almost 100 votes. It was 96 votes. I only ran for 3 hours, I think, so we didn't get a ton of votes on there. But it was actually a tie for the jerseys worn from 73 to 84 and the ones worn from 84 to 87. And so for reference, the first one that I mentioned was kind of the next jersey after the original jersey. So very similar look. Just the stripe pattern is a little different. Instead of having a yellow stripe like in the original jerseys, it's a blue stripe with yellow around it. And then the other one, the other one that was tied is the one that has the Blues name across the chest over the logo. And the other ones I included was the 67 jersey, and then of course the red striped clown jersey that we call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two jerseys, put them in another poll, put them up against the one that I think will be is a great option, and that's, well, I guess we all call them probably the Janney and Shanahan era. Those jerseys, those are fantastic.
There we go.
I think
There you go. If you're watching the video right now, that was the options I put up.
Yeah, I think you have to go with that. The Janney, Hull, Shanahan, Oates era. The blue with just minimal red. And then
Similar to the one that has the Blues over the crest, the name Blues over the crest that won tonight in the poll I was discussing. Similar, but the Blues name is not included.
the Wild absolutely have to go with the North Stars jersey.
But that's a different franchise, though. I'd love them to.
They won't.
I'd love them to. But
I
they
know
won't.
they won't. It's
I
gonna
love
piss
it.
me off.
Absolutely have to.
They should.
Why not just go with a North Stars jersey with a Wild logo on it? Like, it's similar colors. Just do it. I think that'd be awesome.
The Dallas Stars didn't go North Stars either.
Right.
They have no excuse not to.
Yeah. Their
Right.
jerseys were hideous.
Yeah. Well, actually, was that their first outdoor game?
Yes.
So okay. Well, it's not really that. The North Stars jersey for the Stadium Series, it's not really.
I think
Yeah.
Vintage.
Now this is-
forcing the gold and
Yeah,
brown
right.
in there is just disgusting.
I know that this is in hindsight, but this is something I would have said before. I wish that the 4 teams that were involved this year and next year, I wish that the game would have been played in Nashville this past year, and it would have been Nashville and St. Louis.
Yes.
And then you could have had Minnesota and Dallas. That's
Yeah.
what should have been done.
Yeah.
Those matchups make a ton of sense. The Blues weren't going to be in it this year because we were hosting the All-Star game, and
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
too much.
So it should have been Nashville and the Blues next year. I don't. Yeah, that would have been. I don't know. That makes too much sense, Jeff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Too much sense.
Trade deadline.
Austin Lynch asks, why didn't the Stars use the Cleveland Barons jersey?
You know.
And Puck Guy 14 agrees with us. The Wild need to use a North Stars faux back.
It's the only correct answer.
I'd love to see it, but it's a different franchise. I don't know if they can do it. They won't do that. Trade deadline came and went. Tarasenko's return is in a few weeks. So the Blues did not make a move outside the Scandella trade before the deadline. Tarasenko's and this is, I said this. I don't know, a week ago, that we would hear something as far as a more definite timeline when Tarasenko would come back after the deadline was over.
Right.
And as soon as the deadline expires, boom, Armstrong goes. It's like about 3 weeks, about a few weeks, mid-March.
Yeah.
I'm like, there it is.
No, you know what actually happened was that Armstrong heard this show, and he's like, God, that's a great idea. That Kurt Price, he gets it.
And we talked about it. It was like, because you have to think that if a great deal came along, he'd make it and hold Tarasenko back. Granted, now if he comes back in mid-March or 13th, 14th, 15th, whatever it is, he is going to get in like 10 games, 10, 11 games. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's significant. That'd be great if he was 100% healthy and ready to go and get 10 games or more under his belt before playoffs start, as opposed to being activated in the playoffs. That's a much better scenario for Tarasenko and the team. But it's interesting timing to then just announce that Tarasenko a more definite timeline as soon as the deadline's over. That was funny.
Yep, and of course we had to cue all of the just like making a trade.
Just like making a trade.
Just like making a trade.
Well, I mean, I guess it applies a little bit more since we haven't had him for pretty much the whole season. It'd be different if he was out for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you know.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been here the whole season, so getting him is kind of like a guy we haven't had all year. So there's that.
He's our Garrett Stevenson.
Blues and Blackhawks last night. This game, after wins versus New Jersey, Arizona, Dallas, and Minnesota, the Blues made it 5 straight wins last night versus the hated Blackhawks. This was the second time in a row.
First of all, before we get into the game itself, I do want to say real quick, obviously the shutouts were nice, but I thought that Minnesota game was one of the best games I've seen the Blues play all year.
I would not disagree. It was
Yeah.
4-0.
Yeah, and the
4-1, I believe.
it had been
4-1. Right.
it had been building over several games. But they started showing that ability to press teams and suffocate them in their own like the Blues offensive zone, reminiscent of last year's team. It is like they still have what made them successful, what got them to the final last year.
The Dallas game too. The game against Dallas was
they looked great against Dallas.
It was building over several games.
They
Right?
They have
steamrolled
broken
Dallas.
Ben Bishop.
Yeah,
They steamrolled them.
They've
in
clearly
Dallas.
broken him.
But last night made it 5 wins straight. This was the second game in a row against the Hawks where they come from behind to significantly to beat them. On December 14th, the Blues were trailing the Blackhawks 3-0 in the third, only to storm back and win 4-3. I missed this game. The ending of this game, I was in. Where was that? It was that Yard Game Place. It's indoors though, and it's in St. Louis. I forgot the name of it. But that's where I was. I thought they were going to lose 3-0 in the third. Turn it off. Left.
Well, what are you doing, Kurt?
Well, I didn't.
Right.
Okay, I didn't turn it off. I was out. I was at a bar. I was watching it, and we decided to leave. It was 3-0. I chalked it up as a loss. Saw at the next place we were at that they came back and won. I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
God, you were at a bar on a Thursday or Tuesday night. Man, what an alcoholic you are.
That wasn't a Tuesday night.
he's talking the previous game.
December 14th. The first comeback.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to make a joke.
No.
I was taking a big swig of my beer as I said that.
Make your jokes relevant and then be funnier next time.
Not funny.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's not fun. I'm just not a funny person.
Last night versus the Hawks, they stormed back from being down 3-1 to win 6-5, which was honestly a back and forth barn burner of a game, especially in the third period.
How many lead
Yeah.
changes were there?
You said it. The only adequate description of this game was barn burner.
Barn burner.
Gus Kyle, Dan Kelly would
yeah.
be proud.
Yeah, I love that term, barn burner. I used to hear that all the time back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I mean, my God, 6 goals scored in the third period, 4 by the Blues. Starting off the game, Shen's goal, 1-0. On the power play early. Got a power play the first 15 seconds or so of the
it
game.
was off the opening draw,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yep.
Pretty much. And then the Blues score on the power play, boom, up 1-0. Dominated play. And then the Hawks score the next 3, which I'm thinking, what's going on? Blues are playing well. They just gave up 3 goals. Lost a couple of offensive zone faceoffs, which were just killer.
Right.
Taves on both of them.
They did say that on the Keith goal that
Interference.
Taves should have been called for interference.
Oh, he should have. He should have, but also on the Keith goal, Bennington should have had it too. Yeah,
I agree.
Slap shot, top of the circle. He saw it. But it was
I
nobody.
don't know. I thought that the fact that O'Reilly was down on one knee took away a lot of the visual field.
Was that the one with Taves right in front?
No, that was the second one.
Yeah,
Where was
that was the one that everybody, Robert Thomas just gave up on Taves.
I think what
draw.
happened was that Thomas had a stick on Taves, and then when Taves broke the net, Thomas I think thought our defenseman, I forgot who was back there at the time, was going to take him, but the defenseman cut to the boards or cut to wherever they're going. And so Taves was, when the shot came, there was nobody within 10 feet of Taves. It was all in front of the goalie.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was terrible. So that was I thought.
Well, it's you mentioned that he thought the defenseman would take him. I think the defenseman thought the same thing. Well,
it was
Rob
just-
has him.
it was just
so
bad-
I'm going to go get someone else.
Yeah, it's a bad communication. I mean, it happened. Screw up. It happens. But
I think it was Scandella and Falk.
You
that
might be
sounds right.
Because Parayko was in the box. There's at least one of the goals.
Scandella was in the box for one of them, though.
Yeah,
Later.
Parayko was in the box, and
I think
so you
Parayko-
couldn't
yeah.
have the Parayko and Scandella matchup out there.
Yeah.
So and then Kane scores early in the second period to put the Hawks up 3-1. Another screen on Bennington.
Boy, penalty kill just awful.
Yeah, and
Awful.
the first 3 power plays they score. I mean, three for the first 3. And this was a double screen on Kane's goal. Falk was in the way, and so was DeMerkit. So
Yeah, and fucking hell of a shot by Kane, though.
Yeah, no, it was a good shot.
And
But
he circled back to his own fucking blue line to get that head of speed.
I feel like the Blues still give him way too much space.
well,
And that's probably the whole NHL. Just
Well, he
because
left-
you have to respect him a little bit.
he left the zone. He leaves the zone. I mean, he's like afterthought right now, and then he maybe thought he was going to the bench for a change, which would be a weird thing to do on a power play. But it was a power play goal, right? This one was? No, that one was not, was it? I don't think it was.
I don't remember.
Anyway. And this is where it got interesting. So Thomas scores late in the second to pull the Blues within 1. And then O'Reilly scores on a partial break early in the third.
Great pass by Shen.
Yeah, great pass by
Oh,
Shen.
beauty pass. Yeah.
Ties it up at 3. And then Sanford gives the Blues the lead. Just seconds later, grabs a turnover in the Hawks zone. Terrible play by Chicago. Rips a shot by Crawford that he maybe should have had. I'm going to be tough on the goalies tonight.
How far apart were those goals?
Oh, it was.
They were still announcing the
It was like
O'Reilly goal. when
right,
that went
17 seconds, something
Yeah.
like that. It was crazy fast. I love
Sanford, man. That
yeah.
dude's been all over the place.
And then the roof came off the building when Sanford gave the Blues the lead. And then Chicago scores the next 2. So it goes back and forth. Blues couldn't kill a penalty to save their lives in this game. And then boom! So we're trailing again. And then the Blues is their turn again. So Fox scored off a slap shot off the point through traffic, and then Sanford again. Of course, Sanford.
So,
Yeah.
real quick,
Yeah.
I want to talk about Falk real quick. So we bitched about Falk on this show. All Blues Nation has bitched about Falk. One thing that I do like about him, when he decides he's going to shoot, he decides it before the puck's even on his stick. And that's, I think, something the Blues have lacked. Even Tarasenko, I think, does that, where he'll kind of, okay, should I, I'll get the puck here. Should I pass? Should I shoot? There's no hesitation from Falk. So all the bad things we can say about him, at least he knows, like you can tell, he's getting a pass, he's looking at the net already. He's wanting to make that shot. So I appreciate that, and hopefully that continues well into the playoffs for Falk.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we brought it up about Pietrangelo? Like, Pietrangelo's success early this year was because he was doing what he did in the playoffs, shooting the puck, not trying to overhandle it, and he's gotten away from that again. He's again constantly trying to make an extra move at the point to open up a lane, but what he's doing is taking time away from himself. Falk, to Jeff's point, is much more decisive, and he doesn't want the puck on his stick any longer than he has to have it. He before he gets it, he knows I'm passing or I'm shooting. And and I think what drove Parayko's success over the last few weeks is just the instinct to fucking let it go.
And that's what he needs to do every damn time.
It'd be nice if he would just kind of bury his head and shoot it. Just have that mindset.
Jimmy Anderson reminds us that there was 19 seconds between goals there.
I was very close. I was 2 seconds off.
Yeah, you said 17, so
I did.
yeah, very close. Jimmy kind of talking about Kane. He says Kane rips bar when playing us. I think Kane just has more confidence playing in St. Louis than he does in most other venues.
He does. He puts up
he
a ton
does
of
that
points.
to
He
a
does it
lot
against
of
everybody.
teams.
Yeah, I mean it's not just us. He doesn't. He didn't lead the league in scoring. Was it last season or for no reason? So
Right.
it
He
wasn't last
was
year.
right
Last year
there
was
for
a
most
draw.
of the
2
year.
years ago, I think.
I think that's
or
right.
goal. Maybe it was goals 2 years ago. Either way. So Sanford scores on a kind of a long scramble. a long scramble in the slot, puck kind of bouncing around. Sanford finally corrals it and gets a shot to go that's kind of squirts by Crawford.
Who else but Sanford, right?
I know who else was Sanford. And the Blues win 6-5. That goal came about 6.5 minutes left, and the Blues had to kill off a penalty with about 3 minutes left. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
You know this is go to overtime.
Because
Yep,
like,
that's what I was
and
thinking.
And the one penalty they had to kill off, they did. So I was okay. All right, finally. And
Yeah,
to be
that-
honest, you
that penalty
were asking the
looked
Hawks to
bad.
go 4 for 4 in the power play. That's a tall order too.
They have the league worst power play. Blues made them look like superstars.
Well,
last
I mean,
night.
a couple interference calls off the face-offs and yeah.
Still, just too many guys driving the net without giving Binnington anything to see, and just not covering zone well leads to a couple. I mean, the one who was it that scored? I mean, literally a pass right in front, nobody on him.
Sod.
Um,
It was
Sod.
pass from behind the net.
Oh,
Wide
yeah,
open
yeah,
in
yeah.
Just
front.
nobody on him. I mean, he could have stood there and stick
That's-
handled for a second before somebody came at him.
I'm gonna give a little bit of a excuse for that one, just because there's that soft spot between the D and the forwards that he found for a moment. I mean, it exists, and he got there. I'll give him some credit there for being in the right spot, but
It's also
Yeah.
Brandon Saad.
It was very, very poor defending all night on.
it was
Penalty
loose.
kill.
It was loose. Yes, it was an open game, which from a fan's perspective was kind of a nail biting and frustrating, but at the same time very exciting. So it was a very back and forth game. It was
It's
fun
funny
to watch.
because I hear from people that like these are the kind of games I want to see more of, and I'm like,
Ooh.
I don't.
Give me
Fuck
a heart attack.
that.
No, yeah.
Give me a 2-1 game where I know the defense can hold it for a couple minutes, as opposed to a 6-5 game like that.
what's funny?
I can't handle that.
What's funny about this kind of game is that when this was happening in the third period, when the Hawks, when we took the lead in the third, we scored 2 goals, boom. One goal at the end of the second, and then tied in the third, and then go up 2 goals in the third. It's like, oh, boom. That's the kind of game that went against us in years past. We're playing the Detroits of the league, the Chicagos, and they were good. We'd be battling neck and neck, and all of a sudden, start the third, 2 quick goals. Just deflating bullshit goals. And you're like, son of a bitch. And I'm like, we did it to them. This is what used to happen to us all the time against the elite teams. We'd be competitive, we'd be right there, and then we just could not get over the hump, and something like that would happen in the third period. But then again, it went back and forth like 2 more times after that. But
That was a great game by Corey Crawford, I thought. After they traded away Robin Lehner, it was, obviously this is Crawford's crease. I thought, man, he could really buckle under the pressure tonight. I thought he looked fine. I mean, 6 goals against, but
I thought he was good early. I
Early.
thought third period he couldn't
Blues could
stop.
have blown it out early.
He couldn't stop jack squat in the third. I thought a couple of goals he should have, but early, first 2 periods, he was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, your Kurt's tweet. There's the Crawford we know and love.
You're right.
That I think that summed it up.
And
right?
then we gave up the lead right after that, so I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of surprised that they didn't go with Subban. Crawford had his moments. I thought he was the better of the 2 goalies last night. Quite
Agreed.
honestly.
Yeah, I mean he had a lot tougher chances to make saves on, and he made them early, especially.
Hey, real quick, I need your guys' advice on something. 2 comments ago from Jimmy Anderson. Can I say that? Can we say that?
5 years ago, we would not have won that game.
No. 3 comments ago.
Sure, why not?
Can I say that?
This is
Okay.
This is 10:55
Well,
at night. It's
this
a
is
hockey
our-
show, Jeff. Come on.
This is our comment of the show here, Jimmy. Congratulations. Sanford can fit it into a tight spot better than Harvey Weinstein. Woo!
Man.
He's been trying all night. He's been laying some pretty good ones out there, but that one takes it. Congratulations, Jimmy. You win nothing.
You win nothing. You win nothing like it.
You lose.
The Blues outshot Chicago 37-30. They were 2 for 4 in the power play. The Hawks were 3 for 4, but the Blues also went 2 for 4. So they had a nice power play on the evening as well. So the only penalty the Blues killed off was the tripping call on Sundqvist with 3 minutes to go in the game. So we talked about the Hawks only had one giveaway in the game. That's such a BS stat. They had one giveaway in a 6-5 game. They had one giveaway. My ass, they did.
Yeah, that's the hometown scores. Giving the Blues a little love there.
I can think of one giveaway. The Hawks had one giveaway. I can think of one giveaway they had on the Sanford's goal in the third period. His first goal of the night in the third period. That turnover in their own end. That was a giveaway, more or less. The Hawks only had, Sanford had 2 goals, 1 assist. Prawn had 2 assists. Shen with a goal and assist. Thomas with a goal and 2 assists. O'Reilly with a goal and assist. Bennington stopped 25 of 30 shots against. Next up for the Blues, the Islanders are in St. Louis tomorrow night, 7 p.m. They are 4-5-1 in the last 10 and are coming off an overtime loss to the Rangers on Tuesday night. They have 77 points and are currently holding the first wild card spot in the East, 4th in the Metro, behind Philly, Pittsburgh, and Washington. So Blues are first place in the West, 4 points up on Dallas with 1 more game played, and Colorado won, right? So they're 3 points up on Colorado with 2 more games played. So
after that quote-unquote exciting game last night, you can expect a little bit more of a snooze fest against the Islanders.
You would
They
think.
don't play that style.
Yeah, I don't know. There have been a couple of times the Islanders have surprised the Blues over the last couple of years, and they're going to be a little ramped up after having that overtime loss to the Rangers last night.
Yeah.
And the moves that they made, bringing in Pajot, who got in a fight in his first game. I don't know. I kind of expect a spirited Islanders squad to show up here and give the Blues a tough game.
I think what Jeff was, what you were getting at, Jeff, is that the Brewer Bay is going to kind of put the screws down on.
That's part of it. Yes.
About how the Blues are going to, let's tighten things up a little bit. Let's not have repeat. So that'll be an interesting contrast if the Blues try and do that. And see what
see what the Matthew Barzals of the world have to say about that.
Right.
It was one of the writers. Somebody said that they know even win or lose, Berube's going to have a field day in the locker room after this game, and I think that's definitely true. I mean, that is not Craig Berube hockey we saw last night.
No.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
The Blackhawks had a lot of space. Like I said, Kane was getting a lot of space, and I mean the Blues' offense was there. They were forechecking a little bit, but I think they just allowed the Blackhawks to skate into the zone too much, set up. That's what the Blues are usually really good at is not allowing a strong setup in the zone. And I feel like the Blackhawks just set up camp plenty of times last night.
Yeah, you were mentioning the Blues' overall stats and where they sit right now. Did you see the updated Stanley Cup probabilities that
Money Puck?
Athletic put out today? Down decisions model. The Blues are the only team in the Western Conference with a greater than 8% chance of winning the Stanley Cup.
Huh.
There are a shit ton of teams in the West. Of course, Tampa is running away with it. 15%, or in the East rather. Boston's up there. The Capitals are up there. But the Blues are the only team in the West. 11.8%, I think, is the probability they had.
I'll take it.
Absolutely.
That was fun to watch last year, how it swung back and forth. It grew and more as the...
Last year was... We'll never see anything like that again.
No.
They went from... I mean, obviously we all know the story, but they went from... They have the 29th best chance to win the Cup to... They have the 5th best chance to win the Cup. I mean, that was unbelievable to watch.
But even Lecision's model had them early in March as the favorite. Or was it Money Puck that had him as a percentage favorite to come out of the West to get to the Cup final?
When was this?
Early March last year.
Oh, okay. I thought Money Puck. Well, I can't remember. I thought Money Puck had them as the favorites at some point.
Yeah, early.
So, early.
It was a lot earlier. Like
right.
the rails still You know, we could still go off the rails at this point.
Money Puck liked the Blues last year.
Yeah.
Once they got rolling.
Yep.
That was fun to see.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they have formulas and stuff. They know math.
Dan Hall, our friend in the YouTube chat, says, I loved the old school Crawford chant from the crowd. That was awesome. I don't remember. I think it was after the 5th goal. Maybe it was the 6th. That it got as loud as the old Belfour chant. So I'm with them on that. Hearing that on the TV, that was fantastic.
Right. At an appropriate time, late in a game against a division rival, not after every fucking goal, you Nashville assholes.
Well, and then, like...
It's all your fault!
For a short period, St. Louis adopted the "you suck" part of it. God. They would chant it like 5 times, and they would chant "you suck." Last night, it was ongoing, and I loved it. So, yeah, that's the way it should be. That's a good goalie chant.
The chant is the last name, and that's it.
Yep.
Crawford.
Well, some goalies you have to do first name.
Right.
Jordan.
Oh, I guess so. Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess.
but that's it. You don't do the whole "it's all
You
your
suck."
fault." You
Well,
suck.
yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Is you do the you don't
You do the
tack
name.
on the stupid
Right. That-
trailer trash addition to it. That's just
Right.
absurd. That's not. It's because that was
Right.
that way for a long time. Belfour.
Right. It's
It
great
ruins
when
it.
it's spontaneous,
Yeah.
not when it's pre-programmed like it is in Nashville.
The "you suck" at the end
One-
ruins the chant. It ruins the
Yep.
coolness of it. It makes it grade school. Yeah, you know what I mean? It makes it
Yeah.
stupid.
College football is what it is.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's true. I will say one of my favorite memories, and I actually don't know if I ever mentioned this on the show, was 99. I think it was 99, right? That was the year they beat the Coyotes and then played the Stars in the second round and lost, right? The Blues' 2 wins in that series were in overtime, and we went the second time, and I believe it was Pavel Demitra that scored the game-winning goal in, I think, 2 OT. And I'm not kidding. We were out in the parking lot, and people were still chanting, "Belfour." Like, I remember as a kid, I mean, I was 14 then. I remember just being like, oh, my God, this is insanity. Like, there's no way Ed Belfour can hear us right now. And we are still chanting his name 10, 15 minutes after he allowed a goal. Like, that was... I love it. That's the kind of stuff that I love. So, yes, keep that chant going. Don't try to end it with some crap you hear in Nashville. Do it the right way.
I think Mr. Blues Hat can agree that tradition trumps all. I think.
Back off. Preds raised the banner for their chance.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's second best comment of the show.
Preds
right
raised
there.
a banner for the
Congratulations.
chance. Yeah. Bob Rakowski says they need to raise a banner for the banner maker. It's pretty good.
That's a good one too.
I'm sorry. The banner jokes don't get old. I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
They're funny.
No, especially now that we have the one that counts.
I know, right? It's just, yeah, it just keeps getting
You know what's
better.
funny is so again, real quick. I just went through an old game on my YouTube channel, and I had the Blues' season opener from 2001. So that was the year after they won the President's Trophy and then lost to the Sharks. And I watched the home opener right after that game started, just kind of the player announcements. And they had a big deal with unveiling the President's Trophy banner, and it was a big deal. Oh, everybody look up. Here, look at the banner. And it was just, are you kidding me? Like, again, if you go to the 3rd round, 4th round, and you lose, okay, maybe that still holds some merit. But like the Lightning last year, losing in the 1st round after winning the President's Trophy, you don't make a big deal about that kind of thing.
No.
And for the Predators to do that kind of stuff too, it's freaking silly.
We're done. That was a very active YouTube chat tonight. comical. I guess
Yes, very comical.
that'll wrap up episode 54 of season 8 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in YouTube chat during the live show. We hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Crit Price, I'm Bill Day. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sport. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number 1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight.